Alrighty, here we go, math minions. We are on to lesson 7. And lesson 7 kind of piggybacks off of the lessons we just did. This one is comparing and ordering rational numbers. Okay, I touched on it a little bit when I did that in number 6, but mostly I was focusing on integers, and there at the end I just shoved a little bit of rational numbers in, so I'm going to do a little bit more with the rational numbers. Whew. Alright, got the hiccups. So we're going to draw our line. If you got line paper, you don't have to draw that line. We draw down our line there and our line at the bottom for things to remember. Now remember that rational numbers are whole numbers, zero, integers, which are positive and negative numbers, and it's also fractions and decimals. And that's the part that we're really going to look at today, is comparing and ordering fractions and decimals. Now, remember that a fraction is a decimal, and a decimal is a fraction. I know, you guys think of them separately as two completely different things, but they're not. Okay, so remember back to when we were changing fractions into decimals to find percents? That's what I mean by a fraction is a decimal, and a decimal is a fraction. Okay, so let's look at this number here. That is a decimal. It's a rational number written as a decimal. Yes. Okay. Isn't that the same thing as that? Okay, because this is our tenths place, and we have 7 tenths. Well, that's 7 tenths. All right. Okay, that right there is the same as 275 1,000ths, because this right here is the thousandths place. Putting decimals onto a number line is quite simple. If I have my 0 here, that's my 1. I made it into 10 pieces. Okay, so this is 7 tenths. There's my 7 tenths, or as a decimal. This one, I know you guys are like, wait a minute, I'm not going to put 1,000. No, you're not. This could be, if you've got 10, if each one of these was 10, you'd have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Well, that's not enough. How about 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900? There's 1,000. Okay, so this would be the same as 10 tenths, 100 100ths, and 1,000 1,000ths. Okay, this right here, our small little one. All right, so if we're going to go by thousandths, this is 100 1,000ths, 200 1,000ths, 250 would be right in the center, so 275 would be right about there. So there's 275 1,000ths. So putting decimals on is easy because it's base 10. Putting fractions on is a little bit more tricky because we can have different denominators, right? You need the same denominator to plot fractions. Pretty much you do. I mean, some of them you know. 1/3 is less than 1/2, and 1/4 is smaller than 1/3 and 1/2. So some of them you know. But when you're getting into like 5, 6, and 3/4, you're like, wait a minute. My brain is not working. Okay? So I find it easier to change all fractions into decimals. Alright, so this is how you would do that. And you know what? I'm going to slide this up and let you see what I just wrote because it was kind of hidden. I'm going to give you a minute there while I get a slug of my iced tea. And of course you have the ability to pause. I'm going to keep going. So turning a fraction into a decimal, we already did this once, but this is a reminder. Okay? This is a fraction. Change to decimal means 2 divided by 5, because it's 2 divided by 5. This is a math problem all on its own. This is a division problem. You read it top to bottom. All right, I've got like 3 minutes and then I got to go outside and pick up students, so let's do this quickly. We've got 2 divided by 5, just like it says here, 2 divided by 5. Now we already know that we're going to end up with a decimal, so let's put that decimal there. It was invisible, now it's visible, and I'm going to stick a 0 there. 5 goes into 2 0 times. 5 goes into 20 4 times. 5 times 4 is 20, 0 left over, so my decimal 2/5 is equal to 4/10. Alright, what about 17/30? You're like, what? Yeah, that's when we pull out something, this little piece of technology. I don't know if you've ever heard of it or not, but I have a smartphone and I use my calculator, which you can't see very well because it's lit up, but I just go in there and this is 17 divided by 30, and we know we're going to have a decimal, so go ahead and take that invisible and make it visible. And I could do the math. 30 goes into 170 4 or 5 times. So that's 150, leaving 20 left over. Another 0. 30 goes into 200. Let's see, 8, 7, 6 times. That's 180. All right, that was them telling me to go outside. And this, I'm going to get 20 again. So this is where it repeats. 0.5666666. So I could round it and say 17/30 equals 567 1/1000ths. Okay? Because I rounded my 6 up since it's going to go forever. And actually, we use this little wiggly. It says it's about that much. This one equals that. This one is kind of close. We're fudging it a little. Okay? So remember, when you see different signs, they actually do mean different things. All right? We're going to move on to lesson 8 in a moment.